Squid Game is probably one of the most beautiful pieces of media coming out of South Korea. Like besides Train to Busan, The Host, and Parasite, there's a show that may seem like a gory version of Takashi Castle, but it's also about how dark and depressing life is. No one's a winner in a society that squeezes humans' dignity to their death, and maybe the only way for them to survive is to go to this shady game show to win a crap load of money, but if a person loses, they just go straight to hell. Again, this show is just near perfection. Everything is so well crafted, the set design, the eerie style of cinematography, and the very slow and mundane pacing of the story. I've yet to find any major flaw that ruins the point or the messaging in all 3 seasons, despite the last 2 seasons had very few episodes as opposed to the first one. And I will always thank Squid Game to also open a lot of people's eyes, including myself, on just how much of a shithole South Korea is. In fact, only recently, especially after that funny martial law situation that happened because the president feels lonely. Ya Allah, matur nuwun merga kula lahir nang Indonesia. I got recommended 2 videos that talks about the very detailed horrible life inside the country, which I will link these 2 in the description below and urge y'all to go check it out after this video. Now, it's safe to say that Squid Game's messaging is very hardline. In the final season, when Gi-hoon sacrificed himself to save the last game participant, he said, "Humans are not horses." This perfect form of subtext speaks very clearly about why we shouldn't be living in a system based on interest, because the rich stays rich and could make their own choices based on the comfort of their money, while the poor will be poor with no better choice than to join the Squid Game. And if you're not convinced, the show spends so much time making us boil seeing rich people just being so evil in the last season. Now, with all that bluffing, it's really unfortunate that such franchise had to be bastardized with addition of a reality show based on it following the same exact plot of the show. But hold on, cause that is not the worst part. Recently, Netflix announced that they are making an English spin-off of Squid Game. Oh no. Why does every franchise similar to Squid Game, where the story criticizes the capitalist system and meant to be just standalone, like no plan for a sequel, had to be made a sequel or a spin-off? Look at Snowpiercer. They made a remake and it's not very well received. K-pop Demon Hunters? Oh yeah, 2 sequels and maybe a live-action remake. Solo Leveling? Live-action remake. Did South Korea ever make a great live-action remake? This is just quantity over quality. It's 1-to-1 to what happened at Marvel Studios, churning out as many products without any care to it, which is pretty much like consumerism. You're doing it just to make money, no passion, just money's on the mind. Like, I finished Squid Game Season 3 a few days ago, and my god, they literally had Kate Blanchett. Like, the casting is just lazy at this point. Now, there's a nuance to this. The American Squid Game is going to be directed by David Fincher, who is an amazing director. I watched The Killer and his style of directing is pretty similar to Hwang Dong-hyuk. Amazing film, by the way. Hwang Dong-hyuk himself also said that he is a fan of David Fincher's work, and looking at his previous films, he is pretty much one of the inspiration for Squid Game, so it's kinda logical that he's the director. Now, the writer is quite interesting because it's written by the guy behind Utopia, and if you've never watched the show, me neither, it's an amazing sci-fi thriller. The concept is quite abstract, but it still has the same tone as Squid Game. Based on the director and the writer, Netflix is totally awake, and they know that this franchise had to be pure and always stays on the same way. For that, I'm grateful, and I'm genuinely excited for this spin-off. Anyway, I have to make a video on Thunderbolts after this, so if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below if you have some thoughts on the upcoming series, and subscribe to support the channel. Peace.